The tournament is Sky Field Skirmish Pocket Edition number 4, and the competitors, they are going to be Valden, and I concede it could be Valden, I've not heard this pronounced, but on the bottom half, essentially the player's perspective that we're spectating from, with that interactive Mewtwo EX here in the active spot. I know what you're thinking, we're going to get to it in a second. Then, of course, on the top half, we're going to have PlayboiPocky. I'm sure you understand I might just go Pocky, but anyway, roll in with that Growlithe in the active spot, but then this amazing alt art 2-star Mew EX from, of course, Mythical Island. And so the thing we were going to address, welcome on in everybody, by the way, but the thing we were going to address is it's like, oh my gosh, another Mewtwo? Well, yeah, right now, this tournament was very soon, I shouldn't say very soon, but it was like a few days after Mythical Island's release, and in that kind of meantime interim that I've been just trying to scout tournaments, see who's streaming and everything like that, there wasn't a whole lot of decks yet that were super different that made it into the finals, because this right here is the finals matchup. Whoever wins this best of 3 is going to take the entire Sky Field Skirmish. So obviously, you know, I'm trying to target those like top 8, top 4 finals, whatever, like the top cut, right? But anyway, I've gotten a few connections since then, so I'm hoping to get you guys something that's more drastically different basically after this. So, you know, we will take a little bit more time. But in the meantime, yeah, this has some genetic apex, but we do have the Mew EX. So, for example, of course, with Pocky up there on the bench, actually drawing the Moltres right now, I guess did not have that at the start. Of course, you would probably be charging it up if you did, right? And so instead, they're going to be opting to charge up this Mew EX. That card is so incredible. And you want to talk about incredible, of course, still that interactive Mewtwo EX that Valden's got is still pretty top tier, of course, as far as artwork. Gonna grab 2 of those Gardevoir cards, so that's interesting. Gonna have plenty of Gardevoir to go around, eh? Well, they'll go ahead and evolve that right now. You're looking for the Psy Shadow for extra energy and all that. That's pretty early on for Valden's side, so not too bad right now. Gonna have another Mewtwo right here as well to be charging up once that's ready, but I do hope everyone just kind of remains patient with me just a little bit longer before we see decks that are much more filled with Mythical Island, or at least some kind of different meta that doesn't involve Mewtwo EX or Pikachu EX. And those decks are still, even at, if you fast forward in the future from when this stream happened, you know, they still are being played. It's just, I think finally, you know, people are leaning into like a Scolipede Wheezing. I've been seeing that a lot. I've been seeing, of course, the Mew EX. I've been seeing the Celebi EX with Superior and all of that stuff. So believe me, we'll have some stuff to look at that's going to be hopefully pretty different from here, as long as those competitors are making it into the top cut. And so X Speed going down right now for Valden, going to be able to take out this Mewtwo EX and throw in Gardevoir. Would you look at that, as time is running out. Come on, Valden, make the play, right? And so they are, looks like, yep, gonna have to end that turn right there. A little bit kind of, you know, spastic there at the end. It's like when that timer starts going down and you're seeing the blinking numbers, of course, something's got to happen. But here we go. So with Mew EX getting charged up right now, obviously it only needs 1 more energy to be able to do the genome hacking, and so then you'll be able to copy one of your opponent's attacks. And so you thought, you know, Valden was looking out for that, to his credit, but you thought, you know, Pocky was probably going to switch into the Mew EX, right? And then attach an energy, use the genome hacking, but hasn't opted to do that, because instead put in the Moltres, do some of this Inferno dancing, try to get some more energy, probably spread the wealth a little bit. I mean, it's going to be 2 heads right now, and so I believe, obviously, when you look at the deck list, which I provided for you guys on the right, you know, I believe we can say at this point is what I was going to mention right here, just that Arcanine EX seems to be kind of that end goal for Pocky right now, and maybe Mew EX is kind of that backup. Hey, if he sends out that Mewtwo EX again, Valden does, then, you know, Pocky might decide, I'm gonna genome hack it, and for only 3 energy, not even having to discard, as long as it's not psychic energy that you're putting on your Mew EX, you know, you don't have to discard the energy, and you essentially get that 150 damage of Psy Drive. So here comes another new card, of course. We got the Mythical Slab, and Valden saw it was a Pokeball, and so essentially the Mythical Slab, it's an item card that you do get to look at that top card of your deck, and if that card is a psychic Pokemon, then it can go into your hand, but if it's not a psychic Pokemon, then you put it at the bottom of the deck, and so that is a Pokeball that's now at the bottom, essentially, until there's a reshuffling or otherwise. But right now, Valden's still thinking about the move right here. I mean, you have a Psy Shadow, so of course your Gardevoir can have an energy that way. Does take 2 to retreat, obviously staring down the barrel of a Moltres EX at the moment, and so this does make it, I'm sure, a little bit tricky for Valden. Gonna to go ahead and finish that turn, obviously without retreating or anything like that. Clearly without attacking, since that's the case. But yep, we are looking at a finals where there were, I think, 8 or 9 rounds before this. Because, yeah, Valden's 8-1. So I guess what did that mean? That's 9 rounds to get right here. And you see this amazing full art Arcanine EX card. That is so cool looking. And it's now in and ready to do some damage, of course, with that Inferno onrush. Absolutely devastating. 120 damage. And of course, it does 20 damage to itself. Nothing to worry about. You got your big, beefy dog tiger. You know, I always wondered that as a kid. I'm like, wait, it's got like these tiger stripes, but isn't it a dog? Arcanine? Canine, obviously in there, but yeah. So let's see it. Mewtwo EX gonna be hitting that active spot. They drew Ralts, but then Valden just says, nope, that's gonna be it, man. Gonna concede. And so that is gonna be game number 1 for Pocky. Wonderful job to them. But of course, let's try to see what happens on a game 2. We'll get this started for you as quick as we can here, but I do just want to ask of all of you wonderful viewers out there, please subscribe if this is your thing. If you like to kind of see the top cut from tournaments, maybe esports style broadcasts and stuff of them, a little bit. Maybe we should call it casual esports. That's what I'm doing around here, so please, you know, liking and commenting obviously helps all that stuff too, but just you guys viewing, just you guys being around here, and I do love to hear what you guys say as we now enter into this game number 2, and of course we got Ralts here in the active spot. They are going to have that mythical slab once again here for Valden's side, but then we have Growlithe clearly in that active spot for Pocky, and it's going to be the Pokeball. And so we got Mewtwo EX going to be drawn right here, entering the bench. And so, would you look at that? 2 interactive Mewtwo EXs on that bench right now for Valden. And so it's going to be up to Pocky to see, you know, what are we going to draw right here? You need like a Pokeball or something. Hey, Professor's Research sometimes does the job for you. Just got to hope that those 2 cards that you draw, you know, are going to be some other basics, because that's essentially what Pocky's going to need, is something on the bench here. And that's going to be Moltres EX. Pretty nice. And of course, retreating right here with that X speed means that they can actually put an energy down on that Moltres EX. Being that they're going second, they will be able to go ahead and use that Inferno Dance and get the coin toss going. We'll see how many heads there's going to be. I mean, obviously, still could land on all tails, Valden. I know Valden's probably like, this again. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that is going to be actually tails on the first throw and then heads. So 1 Tails the Fox gets you 1/3 of Team Sonic. I did just see the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. Definitely recommend you guys. And stay for the end credits. Looks like we're going to see that Mew EX drawn once again after that Professor's Research here from Valden's side, though. And this is, once again, it's that beautiful alt art card. It looks so cool. And so Valden going to go ahead and choose Kirlia right here for that active spot. Still the same retreat cost of 1 if you need to. And so, contemplating the X speed, maybe we'll go ahead. No, so Valden actually taking a moment to think about this. It does seem eventually X speed is going to be the move. And so they'll go ahead and retreat that and send in this Mewtwo EX. Clearly no Mew yet, at least for Pocky's side, so we'll see if PlayboiPocky does get that Mew EX card as well, and then ultimately Valden's gonna have to worry once again about that genome hacking, and so, you know, clearly doesn't want that. But then on the other side, Arcanine EX. And so it's kind of nice, I mean, when you have the bulkiness of Arcanine EX, if you're facing an opponent with a Mewtwo EX like this, and probably still, hopefully, you know, diminishing, but there probably still is going to be plenty of Mewtwo EX. I know that some people out there were saying, no, Mewtwo EX is still here. Honestly, in certain decks, they probably beefed it up a little bit. Not as much Pikachu EX, I think, as at least what I'm seeing, but here we go. It's going to be that Arcanine EX, the epic full art card. Once again, we're seeing kind of this almost repeat, but now it's going to be Gardevoir right here, and probably, see, the thing is, if they keep it on the bench, Valden's definitely in between a rock and a hard place, because clearly, whatever option you send out here, you know, Arcanine EX still has 130 HP, and it's going to be dealing that 120 damage, so obviously Mewtwo EX outlasts that, Gardevoir faints, Mew EX outlasts as long as there's no Giovanni played, and there's just 1 Giovanni in Pocky's deck. You know, we'll see. It looks like the Psy Shadow is going to be happening right here, likely for the retreat, of course, because otherwise you'd have to let this Mewtwo EX, he actually is going to go for it, so it's the Psychic Sphere. Possibly looking into the future, you know, you do have to be careful, because any of these EX cards, counting for 2 prize points, it is going to be a lot harder to lose one, and so I know that Valden does not want that. He's pretty good. I mean, Valden's been in a lot of at least the top 8 of so many tournaments every week, and so I'm not quite sure really what is going to happen here. It does look like the potion goes down, though, for PlayboiPocky's side, and we should say Pocky hailing from, Canada. Valden coming to us from France, so just in case you are wondering, some people maybe like to know this, the territory that's registered with Limitless TCG. It can help us sometimes get an insight into how people play, although I know that at this stage in Pocket, even with Mythical Island, just because it's so new right now, and maybe just because of how Pocket's streamlined battle system goes, I bet meta is not too crazy different yet between the different territories, but here we go. It looks like that Mew EX. I love how in France it said something, it looked like pirate. I actually did not see that. Is that pirate? Something like that. Pirate something, because of course you're pirating the opponent's move, and I'm sorry you have to listen to me try to do some kind of French pronunciation. I'm no good, all right? Me just stick to English and Spanish, okay? So it looks like now they'll go ahead and Pokeball here for Pocky, definitely looking for something. So yeah, there's Mewtwo EX, and so obviously pirating that move, we could call it, but taking down that Inferno Onrush from Arcanine EX did mean that Mew EX here on Valden's side did take that 20 damage. So, you can't get out of discarding Psychic Energy cards if you try to pirate a side drive, but not getting away from pirating that damage. So did pirate that self-damage. And so Valden, I'm sure was, you gotta try to wonder what is he thinking about right now, because ultimately your decisions are still tough. At least there's not Arcanine EX in the picture, but you can see Valden, he was even clicking around kind of everywhere. You can Psy Shadow, you can go back to Mewtwo. Of course, then you have to think about the Mew EX. It's gonna copy you, it's gonna pirate your attacks right here. And so could get that side drive, Psy Shadow. And then they'll be able to get an energy right here. Oh, okay, we have the tablet. All right, so he'll be able to draw something. Okay, yeah, so it looks like there was Kirlia. I guess that doesn't help too much right now, does it? Anyway, so yeah, Psychic Sphere will go ahead, go down. So he's going to deal that 50 damage. He had a Giovanni, could deal an extra 10. Obviously would not get the KO right here that he needs. That Oko would have come in clutch, wouldn't it? Just for that one prize point left. Either side needs just one more. And so we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of be lying in wait for Pocky. Does Pocky have something up their sleeves? Because you could sort of fear for Valden's chances. Okay, so they will play Arcanine EX. This was the thing, right? And so it can't... Oh my gosh. Okay, yep, that's over. Yeah, with the Sabrina play, that is over. Neither of these Pokemon on Valden's bench can withstand the Inferno Onrush. I cannot believe it. So that is going to be game right there. Looks like Valden will not concede, so he is going to go ahead and just take the punishment from the Inferno Onrush. Let it happen. Hey, take it like a champ, right? So PlayboiPocky is going to be your winner of the Sky Field Skirmish, ladies and gentlemen. Cheer on both of these competitors, of course. No shame in losing like that, huh? But we'll go ahead and check out the standings coming up here pretty soon so that you can kind of see the path that these competitors went on. And beyond that, just know I do have one match in the chamber that is going to be more Mythical Island centric. So that'll be coming up after this. And I appreciate and love everybody out there that's viewing this. Please click an end screen on screen. Thanks for viewing.